I can't believe I'm making 2 videos in one day, but I just wanted to years ago, I heard a story about this. It's not a true story. It's a story like with a supposed moral, but the moral to the story was not great. Um, so, as the story goes, there was an old rabbi, and he somehow stumbled upon the cure for everything, like the cure for all illness, all disease, everything. Right? And he threw it out. He got rid of it because he believed that this would cause humans to worship whoever created the cure, or the cure itself, and instead of worshiping God. So he threw it out. What a piece of shit. What a piece of shit. When I say don't let religion drive you to fatalism, and this is a very extreme example of what I meant, because there are people who have told that story and actually believe it's good, that he had just intent. When the fantasies we tell ourselves to comfort ourselves in the face of suffering and death end up being used as an excuse to maintain suffering and death when we no longer have to, then it becomes a problem. And I'm not an atheist. I'm agnostic, right? I don't know what happens, right? There's nothing wrong with wanting comfort. There's nothing wrong with wanting to comfort other people. But once that becomes so fatalistic that it's used to actually maintain negative things that are happening when we don't have to anymore, it has the opposite effect of its intent. So a guy such as this horrible person in this story, and of course the story is fake, he should, I'm feeling very vengeful. Reincarnation should be real just for him. Yeah, just for him. He should be forced to come back in every single possible life and to suffer every single possible illness and every single possible death. And not just that, but he should also be forced to come back in the role of every single person who's sitting at the bedside of someone they love who is suffering and dying. Because there is plenty of suffering in that too. Watching someone you love suffer, watching someone you love die. It's a horrible thing. I don't wish that on anyone. Again, I'm not saying that people should not have religion or that they should give up their superstitions. What I'm saying is, don't let that drive you to avoid taking action in real life that might actually benefit yourself and others. And don't let it drive you to take away help from others because you've convinced yourself that somehow suffering is warranted. Or because you've convinced yourself of a wonderful, fabulous afterlife and you want them to get there quickly. Don't do that. We think of the ancients as these barbarians, but the truth is they had culture, they had technology. If we look back at their primitive technology, what we call primitive, but in their time it was the most modern for them. And they would use the most modern technology and remedies and medicines and procedures they had to improve their lives and to save their lives. Do you think some ancient Roman from 2,000 years ago was going to say, well, 1,000 years ago our ancestors didn't use this medication, therefore we're not going to use it, even if it could literally save their lives? Did you really think they would do that? What these radicals do now? Of course not. They would use the most modern remedies and medicines and technologies they had at that time. Those are who we descended from. We're their descendants. We're not the descendants of anyone who would say, well, the fates decided we should die, so let's just roll over and die. That is part of life after all. No, because if it's a situation where you don't have to suffer and you don't have to die, why do it? Just because of of some ideology you've convinced yourself of to make you feel better in a life of suffering and death. It's counterproductive now. I think about that story a lot now just because of the events of the last few years. You know, losing my mom, and now I'm the one who's sick, and I think about all of the other suffering in the world. These people who actually want to take away cancer treatment from children, who want to take away maternal medical care so that women and girls die. I mean, this is sick. We need to be like our ancestors, strong. We need to fight. We need to fight back. We need to use the most modern, advanced technology we have access to. We need to fight back. And we need to keep moving forward. That's all.